Hey, what's going on?
Just trying to. Oh, there you go. There you go. I was trying to get out of the thing. My bad. How's it going?
How's it going, man? It's going well. You want to just jump right into it?
Whatever you want to do, I'm
Sweet.
ready for whatever you're ready
All right.
for.
What part of California are you based in?
I'm from the Inland Empire, Colton, California, Southern California. Right now, I mean, it's beautiful most days, but right now, since the fires and everything, I mean, sad going on. All prayers to them and everything, all the
Oh
people
yeah.
going through it right now. But yeah, out here in the Inland Empire.
Oh yeah. I heard there was ash
Yeah,
rain.
it's raining ash right now. Really
Crazy.
crazy. Yeah, it's sad,
That's
man.
nuts.
Sad.
So in track five, the whip featuring Octane, you rap in the whip got me rolling up to Cali in the whip. Where did you live before?
Oh, well, what I meant was rolling up the Cali. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
oh, gotcha.
yeah, yeah.
Dope.
That was my bad. I mean, I'm trying to learn a little bit better on how to get more words
Mhm.
saying wise, being able to say the words a little bit better and being able to phrase them a little bit more. But yeah, that's what I meant by
So
yeah.
you've always lived in California?
Always
Oh,
been
cool.
here in Colton. Always been in the Inland Empire. This is it, man. All
Very
I've
cool.
ever known.
Very cool, man. Very cool. So what made you want to start making music?
Well, I've always been just into music since I was a kid. My dad's just always listened to rock when I was a little kid. My uncle got me into hip hop, and it's just always been something that I thought was life. Music is life. Everything that we do, everything we touch, every sound, it could be generated into some sort of musical tone, and
Hmm.
it just had something in my heart. And when I was 12 years old, I just decided to write, and that's how it all started. I just decided to say, let's try it, let's see what can happen.
Very cool, man. Which of the two do you prefer, rock or hip hop?
Honestly, I'm at a point right now where I'm just kind of learning to appreciate all types of music right now. And obviously I'm a hip hop guy, but I can never not go wrong with rock. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's always there. I mean, the guitars are inside hip hop beats, everything. So I mean, everything kind of just is in sync with each other. So that's how I kind of look at it. You know what I mean?
And did you start writing rock or hip hop when you were 12?
Hip hop.
Hip
It
hop.
started off as poetry. It
Oh,
started off
nice.
with me,
Very
yeah,
cool.
me writing poetry and just roses are red, violets are blue, stuff like that. You know what I mean? So
When did you create the name Jason Alexander?
that's actually my first and middle name. So I kind of when I first was starting, I was Jay the Kid, and then some guy when I was about to start writing and start actually recording and stuff like that, I seen that he had dropped something and he was going by Jay the Kid. So I just said, forget it. Got to try to figure out something different. And Jason Alexander, it was my name, and I kind of thought of it as like a Kendrick Lamar in a sense. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
that's who he is, so this is who I am. So I'm
Yeah.
just Jason
Okay.
Alexander.
Not bad. Very cool. Do you know that that's also the same name as the actor who played George on Seinfeld?
Yeah, I know. He's on Seinfeld and everything, so I get it all the time, dude. He's just like Jason Alexander, like the guy from Seinfeld. No, this is something different. I got a dollar sign as my
Oh
S.
yeah.
You know what I
Oh yeah.
mean?
I'd say you're probably a better rapper than he is.
Yeah, I would hope so. I would hope so. Maybe one day I could be a better actor too.
Oh my
So
God. You
yeah,
guys can like freestyle on each other. That'd be dope.
yeah.
And a few tracks on the album, you refer to yourself as Xander. Is this another preferred name? Or,
Another persona wise, yeah. I have it's just yeah, it's just another persona, another kind of name.
what inspired the cover art for the self-titled album?
Um, that picture was taken in front of there's a church called Center Point Church in Colton, and across from that church there's a little park that has a stage and everything. And to me, I wanted since the name was self-titled, I wanted I wanted something that was more of my liking of it. I wanted the picture itself to be something that represented me, and what I feel more comfortable on is on a stage. And when I'm on stage, I feel alive and I feel happier than ever. That's where I'm more at peace. So I wanted it to show that when I'm on stage, that's who I am. Jason Alexander is somebody that is a performer. He's somebody that is talented and can. That's what I wanted to show. Something like an old school kind of thing. You know what I mean?
That's very cool. I know that a lot of people get nervous on stage. Do you feel that same kind of nervousness or anxiety, or do you feel completely like at peace with everything once you're up there?
Oh man, I get anxiety easily. Like I get nervous. Right before this, I was nervous as hell to even do this. You know what I mean? But I mean, as you could tell right now, I'm perfectly fine. So it's just as soon as I'm on stage and as soon as I'm in the process of doing what I'm doing, then it just clicks and just here go. You know what I mean? It's nothing as soon as I'm on stage.
Awesome. Very cool, man. What is your favorite track on the project?
No Time, which is the
No Time.
last song. Yeah, which is the last song on the album. That song has a lot of meaning to me, and it's funny. Just it has to do with the girl. It's funny, but yeah, she was somebody that was very important to me and isn't in my life. But I mean, it is what it is, and that was the best way to get it off my chest and make me feel a little bit better.
Cool.
And
Just to get over the kind of like heartbreak
yeah,
kind of ordeal.
yeah,
I get
yeah.
that, man. I get that. Very cool. Yeah,
But
I really like that song too.
yeah, thank you. And it's funny because we actually made that song 3 weeks before my album actually dropped.
Huh.
So yeah, so we are like, you know what, put it on before it goes up. So we put it up, and the week after we had made that song, I had performed it live for the first time before anything, before anybody's ever heard it, and I performed it live at a good pal of mine, A Sincere. He was throwing a music festival called Leap Fest, which was on the leap year because it was leap year this year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes, so I went out and I performed that song, and it got a lot of good feedback from it. So I'm very happy with that song for it to be a 3 week process and it be that good to me. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a nice closer to the album as well.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Very, very mellow and just a real good ride out. And
Oh
that's
yeah.
kind of how I wanted it to be. So,
How did you choose Octane and Tono to be featured on the album?
Tono is actually one of my best friends. He's actually the one who was the first person actually that came up to me and said, "Hey, I want you to record." And we went to our friend Daniel Avila's house. We recorded our first song, and ever since then, it just took off. Me and him dropped our first mixtape together. And then after that, I just decided to go solo and try to do some stuff by myself. But we're still the best of friends, and
Mm-hmm.
he's always going to be on my music. He's always going to be on a tape, and he's been on every tape so far, and he's always going to be on a tape. So that's how Tono is involved. Octane is actually one of my main influences in rap. He is actually another artist that is from the Inland Empire. He's actually a really big rapper now, kinda. He's worked with numerous Grammy-nominated producers such as Hit Boy, so on and so forth. He's done stuff with Wale, and his group Audio Push has just been a main influence to me because of being in the Inland Empire. So when I knew that I was going to be doing my first solo project, I knew that I wanted at least both of them or one, and I was able to get one.
Cool.
So I took the one.
Very cool. Is that mixtape with Tono going to be available at any point, or do you think that that's going to be something that you guys kind of just kind of keep to?
That's it's available on SoundCloud, but as of main platforms, we would have to go and purchase all the beats, and that's why it's not on any major platform
Okay.
at the moment. Yeah,
I feel you.
My first tape was me figuring out how I could get on all the major platforms and stuff like that, and now I'm slowly learning the business myself, and I'm hoping that with this knowledge I could possibly do another tape with him, and then we could put this on a major platform. You know what I mean? So
of course.
it's just all working.
Cool. Who produced the album? I know that on Apple Music it says Hippie Guy Entertainment or something like that. Is that?
We have the Dub Guy Entertainment is actually mine and Tono's like group, and then I'm also
Okay.
involved in another collaboration group called the Modern Day Hippies, which is run by a good pal of mine, Young JL. And it's kind of just both in being like an affiliate in both kind of groups, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So, but who produced the album? I have a bunch of different producers that actually I purchased beats from,
Mhm.
but Daniel Avila, he goes by Lucifer, but he's the one that mixes and masters everything. I'm go to his studio and he's the one that's doing all my plugins. He's the one that doing all my main vocals with. So he's the main engineer, the main person that mixes and masters. So without Daniel Avila, I'm basically nothing. So I'm appreciative of him.
Very cool, man. Very cool. What else? So the tracks Came to Play and Like Ice featuring Tono are super lyrical. What are some of your influences?
Um, so I was actually just talking to my dad about this. So when it comes to influences, I think of influences in two different ways. So when I think of influence wise of how I started making music, my influences come to be from Joey Badass, from the ASAP Mob,
Mhm.
from the East Coast genre to Tupac and stuff like that, and so on and so forth. So those are my influences that wanted me to rap. Now, my influences, as in creating my sound and music right now, it would be Key Glock, Future, all the East Coast stuff, the 808 stuff, and stuff like that. Now, my lyrical stuff, the reason it's lyrical is because that's where I get my West Coast and my East Coast kind of influences from, and
Mhm.
that's how all the lyrical comes. I could do different types of sounds, and it's very, I'm very, I don't know how to say it, but I'm able to go in different lanes, and that's what I'm happy with. So I could
Almost like
go
a
from,
jack of all trades kind of thing.
yeah. So I'm happy that I'm able to go from the East Coast sound with the very lyrical to being the 808 trap turn up stuff. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it's just a variety that I can go with my influences.
Now it sounds like you're going more towards the trap side with some of your latest releases. Is that intentional? Do you feel like as an artist you want to move more towards that sound, or do you think that you want to stay somewhere in the middle between though?
Oh, I'm definitely gonna be somewhere in the middle. Right now, the reason a lot of my trap type stuff is coming out is because I'm actually doing an EP. This is gonna be the first anybody's really heard of it, so you're gonna get the first take on
Very
it.
cool. Awesome.
But yeah. So I'm dropping a mixtape EP, three track EP called The Triple Threat,
Hmm.
and it's just gonna bring out my heel persona per se because I'm a very big wrestling fan. So that's how the triple threat and a lot of the trap stuff to me is more of my ignorant side, more of my mouthy side.
Okay.
So with the trap stuff, it's me bringing out my heel persona. So that is an intentional thing as of right now, as of what I'm doing. And then once I already have the idea for my next album too after the
Oh
mixtape.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm on go right now.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It
Yeah,
sounds like it.
yeah.
Now that you mentioned wrestling, it that reminded me of the first track on the album. How it sounded, it almost sounded like there was a UFC fight or something
Hmm.
like that being played before the mixtape
Yeah,
gets put in. Is
yeah, and
was
that
that
was
kind of like a
intentional too.
reference to it?
Yeah, that's intentional too. That's referencing the wrestling stuff. That's actually a tape back in 2000, and it's funny because it's just like a story that was going on between brands colliding with each other, like an invasion kind of thing. But
Hmm.
you do have JR, which is a very famous wrestling commentator in the background, and he's talking, and that's how I wanted to start it. I wanted to start it like we're watching TV, and then all of a sudden Daniel will come knocking on the door and say, "Hey, man, I got the tape." And it's like, "All right, well, stop watching this. Let's listen." You know what I mean? So it all plays together, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah. I thought that was really cool how the first track even led into the second one. It
yeah,
it really allowed the listener to flow through the album. I felt
yeah,
like anyway. So
yeah.
it was really really cool. Um, In the track I, you rap lyrics like God's in control, looking up to God, looking for the wisdom. And you also added gospels, what sounds like gospel singers, featured around the chorus. Now, you've already mentioned that you feel like the church area of the album artwork is a special place for you. Would you say that you're a very religious person, or that religion plays a lot into your lyrics?
I I wouldn't say I'm very religious. When I was a kid growing up, I wasn't a believer. I didn't really believe in it a lot. I didn't to me I just thought it was nonsense. But as I got older, I was in dark places and stuff like that, and I thought to myself that maybe I should look a different way, and maybe I should just try to see if there's something. And I just decided that maybe following something and believing maybe could help me out a little bit. And I wouldn't say that I'm a religious person because I don't believe in any religion. I believe that there's a God, but I don't believe that there's religion. Um, I just with those lyrics, it's me calling out to him saying, okay, like if I want your help. And
Mm-hmm.
if if you're in control, take control, and that's all it is. And I do believe that he is kind of taking control as of right now, because who would have thought that I would be doing this? Who would have thought that I would try to actually be making music? You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not stopping now, there's obviously something telling me that you got to keep going.
Of course.
So
That's a
I
very
would,
cool. That's a very cool view, man. That's a
yeah,
very cool.
thank you.
Yeah. I understand that you just released a music video for the
Yes.
track OMG. What was it like to make that music video?
Oh, it was awesome. It was a different experience. I've never done anything like that. Never stood in front of a camera like that. So it was just something, yeah, something completely different. But it was a lot of fun because I was going in just knowing what I wanted to do. I already had the vision of how I wanted to go about it.
Mm-hmm.
And we just everybody that was there, we just had a good time. You could tell that everybody was having a good time. And we never made anybody feel uncomfortable. It was more of just, let's just go. Let's just do something different, instead of just waving stuff around, pretending being like what we aren't. You know what I mean? Let's just go out and do it. And we had a blast doing it. It was something I want to do again. You know what I mean? So more music videos to come.
Do you think that a music video will come for one of the songs that are is on the self-titled album, or do you think you're gonna wait until the next album drops to
Oh My
release
God
music
will
videos?
be on the Triple Threat
Okay.
EP. So that is actually the first single off of the tape. So
Oh wow.
yeah.
Okay. Very cool.
So I want to do something special with it, something different, because I've never dropped a music video. So I said, you know what, if we're gonna do something different, let's make a music video for the first single. So we did that, and as of right now, it's not available on any platforms. You could just listen to it and watch it on YouTube right now. So
Mm-hmm. Very cool. I guess that answers the question of what new music have you been working on lately. Do you have a release date or a goal that you want the second album to be dropped by?
for the second album, later on in the year. For the EP, I'm hoping by October.
Cool.
I'm not pushing for the next album to come out right away. I want it to sound a lot better than what the first one did. And don't get me wrong, the first one sounds great,
Mm-hmm.
but I
Oh,
want to make sure
definitely.
that this next one is going to be a lot more special, because there's a lot of surprises on the second one already, and
Oh,
it's not even,
awesome.
you know what I mean? So
Very
just
cool.
a lot of things already.
Is there an album kind of like artwork that you're thinking of for the EP?
Yes, I actually, there's a very talented local artist here in the Inland Empire as well. His name is Nicholas Gray, and he does a lot of illustration work and stuff like that. So I asked him to help me out with it, and we're gonna have an illustrated wrestling cover. I don't want to say I don't want to give away too much, but
Yep.
you know what? This is something very exciting, so
Very
why not?
cool.
We'll give it away.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool, man. Do you think that the recurring theme of, I assume it's you in like different pictures when you were younger, do you think that that's going to be a recurring thing for when you release more singles?
Possibly. No, I don't want to say no, but I like the old school
Yeah.
type of looking pictures and stuff like that. Because a lot of those pictures are from like photographs and stuff like that I use. So like I'm taking pictures of the little photographs, you know. So they look pretty tight, but that's why I like using some of them.
Very cool, man. You recently, so when will Going for Mine officially drop? Since you
So
released a little snippet for that, or do
yeah,
you think that that's going to be released when the whole EP is going to be finished?
once the EP is done and gone, that's actually we're gonna be working on that to be one of the singles off the next album.
Oh,
So
wow.
so this isn't this song's not gonna be out for a while.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Wow, that's really
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
You're really in high gear, man.
I
That's awesome.
I'm thinking ahead
Pumping it
right now
out.
because I'm on go. I can't stop and I want to.
What was your favorite venue to play at before the coronavirus?
I I performed 3 times, I believe, at the Venue Bar and Grill in Grand Terrace. It was actually called the Venue, which is funny. Um, yeah,
Your favorite
yeah,
venue's the venue. Awesome.
yeah. My venue's the Venue. This is funny, but then I also did a show in a record shop in San Bernardino called Serious Cartoons.
Okay.
It's a really cool little spot. It's actually locally owned as well from man San Bernardino. So you
Hmm.
guys could check them out. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Um, but I've also performed at downtown San Bernardino, a little alleyway. It was called the Breezeway, but it was an awesome little event. It was a nice. It you could tell that it's been remodeled to be something for creative minds and creative talent to go and just express themselves. Because when you go into this little alleyway, it's just murals and different
Oh,
designs
wow.
and stuff. Yeah, it's really cool in that alleyway. So they really set it up to be something for artists and stuff like that. So I performed there, and that's actually where Elite Fest was this year, and that was actually the last show I got to do before COVID
Remember them?
happened.
Yep. Yep. Now, as an independent artist, are you trying to stay independent, or would you eventually like to be put on a label?
Um, it's so hard to say. The only reason I would want to be independent is because I could be able to do the things that I would be able to do. You know what I mean? I would be able to say this, I want to drop it this time, and that's it, and nobody can tell me nothing. And
Yep.
that's really one thing about an independent artist that comes to be, and you could actually entrepreneur into your own things without having to be on a microscope from somebody else. You know what I mean? But I mean, a label is a label. You know, you're gonna be
Yeah, of
making
course.
money. It obviously when it comes to me, like obviously I'm not all about the money because I'm still just going and spending money on music itself. I'm not gaining really anything, but it it would be nice. But I mean, independency is probably the best way to go at this point.
Very cool. Very cool, man. And I just have a couple more questions just to wrap up the interview.
Okay.
If you were stranded on a desert island, what album would you want to be with you?
It's a hard
That's a
one.
tough one.
Oh,
Yep.
that's a tough one.
Yep.
You know how many albums there are in the world, man?
Yeah.
I can't do it. Oh, oh man.
All right. How about this? One rap and then one rock. I'll give you that.
All right, I'll take that. I'd probably have to say rap album. Damn, it's so hard because I get tired of the same thing over and over. But I'll say All Eyes on Me by Tupac for rap,
Okay.
and then for rock, probably have to do a Pearl Jam album. Couldn't tell you which one off the top of my tongue, but I'd probably Pearl Jam album.
Dope. Very dope, man.
I'd have to go back and look at a couple of them before I'd make a legit decision. But yeah,
Mhm.
it'd probably be a Pearl Jam
I
album.
feel you. Awesome. That's very cool. And last question. Anything you want listeners to know before this interview ends, or any shout outs you want to make?
I just want to shout out all my boys, Tono, Lucifer, Young JL. Without them, I, they believe in me more than I believe in myself. So without them, I probably wouldn't be still doing this. You know what I mean? But other than that, I hope that you guys stick around to see if I can grow a little bit more with this music stuff. You know what I mean? I know that I have a lot more music to come, a lot more things that I want to do, so I'm not done yet.
Oh my God. Oh my. This shit crazy. Look. Oh my God, man, my